Hey guys, before we start today's video, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Movie Palette. Right now, you can use discount code NERD15 for 15% off all of their products, which are some of the best movie-related products out there right now. As many of you know, I'm a big movie fan. More specifically, I love the way movies are made, the cinematography, the technical aspects, and the color grading, and that's what Movie Palette captures so uniquely and beautifully and stunningly. Look at some of these canvases of some of the biggest movies of all time: Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, classics, romantic comedies. They've got it all. Their unique process is pretty fascinating as well. Their incredible team takes a single movie, they capture every scene, single out the dominant color, and chronologically place them as colored stripes on canvas. And it really captures that sort of painterly quality that movies have. They're able to tell stories through colors, and that's kind of what these canvases are doing. And our friends over at Movie Palette were nice enough to send us our very own canvas, and there was so much to choose from, but I settled on Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, not only because it's a beautiful canvas that celebrates the incredible work by Peter Jackson and Andrew Lesnie and that entire team that made some of the best looking movies of all time, but it matches my bedroom decor. Look at that. Happy coincidence, right? It's got the perfect color palette for my bed sheets, and it's just absolutely stunning when you get an up-close and personal look at the work that they're doing on these canvases. To me, it's one of my favorite visual representations of movies. I just find it so unique, so fascinating, a great way to represent the movies we all know and love. And like we mentioned before, you can use code NERD15 for 15% off all of their products, so head on over to their website, scroll, check out all the different canvases they offer. Truly some stunning works of art. There's no way in hell I'm going to be able to resist picking up that Blade Runner 2049 canvas. God, that is one beautiful movie, and it made one beautiful movie palette. So, go on over to their website and see if you can find the movie palette for you.
Good soup. History does not remember blood. It remembers names.
I had chicken before I got here.
Yes. Chicken.
Yeah, typical chicken.
Good old
What I always associate with...
Stomach starter.
It's a gassy food.
What kind of chicken?
I don't know how my dad did it, but he cooked it and it was really good. But I used a yum sauce that he had in the kitchen. I guess that's where it's coming from.
That sounds accurate.
Yeah.
Yum sauce. That used to be my nickname in high school. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Beau Oliver, joined here today with Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey and Teddy, and we are back to review episode 6 of House of the Dragon, the Princess and the Queen. Over there looking at the audio, you're freaking me out. It's going, right?
Yeah, it's going.
See the waves?
When you started, it didn't come up, and then
It's a little delayed.
Everything we said didn't come up, so that's why I looked.
Well, you guys are a little low. Speak up, both of you.
No.
Well, not now.
Oh.
Yeah, we're back. Hot D. Look at that. Teddy doesn't like the name, but we're sticking with it because George likes it.
No, he's lucky he said it. I was ready to rebel against that name, but then you told me that it came from the top.
He's complaining about Hot D, and yeah, right. That's what he's like, oh, this is coming from the top.
It's out of my hands.
I can't say nothing about it, no.
I don't like it, but I'll deal with it.
We already missed out on the white wedding.
No, you missed out on that.
People were making points, man. You should have stuck with your guns.
I know. I cave too easily.
No.
I don't defend myself enough. I just back down.
Sometimes you do, yeah. You pick and choose your battles.
But you pick the ones you do. The ones you do pick are
I don't pick the right ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks. But you can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, all the platforms, wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us. Wow. Almost bit off my tongue there. Follow us on social media at Nerd Soup, at Beau Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey, at Teddy Nerd Soup. Excited to talk about this episode, the big time jump that we've all been waiting for, the new performers taking over the roles for Rhaenyra and Alicent. Me and Aaron already gave our thoughts, so Teddy, I'd like to start with you. What did you think about this episode 6?
Another great episode. Can't complain with it. I don't know about you guys, but halfway through, I forgot that they did a time jump. They did such a great job of putting you back. Even they went 10 years, but you felt like you took the ride with Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook. And I mean, Alicent Hightower, she she's all business now. I feel bad for Rhaenyra because she's a bull and she's not stopping.
That's a good way to put it. She sees red everywhere.
Yeah, no, she's not playing with anybody.
Or green, right?
I hate Sir Kristen. I love Harwin, and to see what happened to him was a damn shame.
Yeah, I think Harwin. We talked about it too. Like, we really didn't even. It took me like one scene, and I was like, oh, all right, these are just the characters now, and I didn't think twice about it. Yeah, I think some of our problems were with the time jump. Not that it wasn't like seamless, but some things we would have liked to see more, especially a relationship between Harwin and Rhaenyra and Laena and Daemon. But other than that, yeah, I agree. I think it was one of the better episodes of the season so far.
I don't know what's going on with Daemon, but I think he's starting to be my favorite character. I don't know what, like...
I feel like you keep saying that, and like you're scared to...
I'm like scared to commit to him, but I think I want it now. He's just like... I feel like he's so calm, cool, collected now. He knows what he wants. I can't wait to see where he goes from here.
I don't know if maybe he's like afraid of what he wants. It's one of those things where he's on the run. So he's staying in Pentos. He's going to work as a mercenary.
Isn't this what he
because
wants?
maybe he's afraid of what he'll do. So he's kind of sort of resisting his ambition, maybe. But I think you're right. He does come off way more calm in these episodes. And, for a lot of characters, we don't see this in the world of Game of Thrones, where they have the opportunity to escape from the game and they want to take it, right? Yeah. He's having that back and forth with his wife. She's more homesick. She kind of wants to get back into the action for personal reasons and because she's got that fiery heart. She says she always wanted the death of a dragon rider. So they're an interesting pair, and I definitely think that they could have used more development, especially for the way that she goes out, this sort of symbolic Valyrian death. There was more there for Rhaenyra and Harwin than Daemon and Laena, in my opinion. The moments that Harwin has with the kids, the looks that they're sharing, the way that he's got their back. He feels very fatherly towards them, even though it's this sort of open secret that everybody knows. But with Daemon and Laena, I feel like the impact of that relationship ending could have hit harder if you spent more time with them. It just wasn't enough.
Right. I feel like people were getting like, I seen conflicting takes on this. Like, some people are like, wow, like the most stable relationship in Westeros when going to Daemon and Laena, and other people are like, what were you watching? So yeah, but you do get a sense that Daemon does like respect Laena, and maybe if he, still is in love with Rhaenyra. I mean, he seems a little put down when he finds out about the child she has and asks if he resembles the commander of the Gold Cloaks.
Even him and
his old job.
I know.
So basically, Sir Harwin's living his life right now that he wants. But I also, like I said in the other review, it seems like this is what Daemon keeps telling himself he wants, but he really he wants to get back into it. Even with Harwin and Rhaenyra, I think maybe in those earlier episodes, instead of like just those glances, we could have got more, just a little bit more, and that would have made this episode and that relationship a little better. But I'm not really complaining. I think it was impressive what they were able to do with both relationships in the limited time they had. But like you said, I think maybe an episode in between, if they wanted to pace it out that way, could have been beneficial for those moments. But I don't think that's necessarily the story they're trying to tell, because like we keep saying, that basically the story starts now. So everything we've got in the first 5 episodes I think is just a bonus. So
yeah, they've committed to a way of telling this story, so I've enjoyed it so much for the first 5 episodes. Maybe if there was a different... Stop doing that.
What is it? Oh.
Maybe in a different world, the story, episode 1 starts with the main characters as adults, and we see how that relationship develops between Daemon and Laena. But even for some people, they messaged us and said, hey, who's Harwin? Some people, right. It's one of those blink and you miss it. Oh, yeah, I guess he did get Rhaenyra out of the chaos, and they share that moment in episode 3.
If you're not on Twitter, you have no idea who this man was.
Right, yeah.
True.
Yeah, my sister messaged me. She's like, I had to Google so much. Who are the kids? Who's the new kid with blonde hair?
The only reason why
but
people
if you
know
put 2 and 2
Harwin is
together,
because of everyone thirsting on him online.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you put 2 and 2 together, you know that at the end of episode 5, Sir Kristen's done. He's not with her anymore. So, and we have 10 years of Harwin being her guard. So, and you saw what happened with how like that love affair started. You can kind of put the pieces together and how well they gelled if 10 years together, and she's not attracted to Laenor.
Well, I think it's more so Laenor not being attracted to her.
Yeah, true.
That sort of deal. And it's sad because they seem like such a fun unit.
I do like
Laenor
them.
understood what was going on between Rhaenyra and Harwin, but they all just had very healthy relationships with each other. The dynamics with the kids were great. That's why that relationship and that family dynamic worked so much more. But for people, who aren't as familiar with the source material or who just don't remember Harwin because he wasn't in many scenes in the first 5 episodes, it could be a bit confusing. And for some people, it was. For me, it wasn't. I don't know, maybe if I came into it without reading the book and not being, aware of some of these characters and where, because I knew Harwin was going to die.
Oh, yeah.
So when everyone was like thirsting over him for episode 5. Well, it was more fun with Kristen because everyone thirsting over Kristen in the back of your mind, you're thinking
he's getting shunned.
Like things like that
break so many hearts.
But honestly, like maybe for you, but for me, I have the memory of a goldfish. So like I know Kristen's going to be a scumbag. I know certain things are going to happen in the future. But like Harwin dying at that point in time, like that kind of took me for surprise. Or even Lena, like a lot
of the timelines could kind of sneak up on you.
Yeah, a lot of things I either forget or like once it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Very much like Attack on Titan after I read the manga and then I watched the show. I'm like, I don't remember any of this. So I'm kind of like experiencing it in like something new again. Even though big picture things I gravitate to. Some of the smaller details slip my mind at times.
Is Lena dying a big turning point for Damon in his life now? Because it feels like we said earlier, I think he was at peace with what he was doing. Yeah, he missed Rhaenyra, but I think now that Lena died, I think an unhinged Damon is going to come back to Westeros and King's Landing.
Well, it's definitely going to bring him back into the picture. Yeah. I think episode 6 is called Driftmark, and they've released some promo material. They're going to have Lena's funeral. So, I mean, I think it's just, I don't know, there were theories that, no, that's actually a spoiler.
Don't say it. For me, at least.
Yeah, I don't know. With Damon, I think that, like what Aaron said, at this point, you could say it openly that he's in love with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a way to get him back into the fold. Rhaenyra left, and now she's going to also just be back in the fold. She goes to Dragonstone, and you can't escape these people, right? Alicent, the king, they're going to show up to the funeral. So
I think it's funny how we joked a couple episodes ago about how clueless Viserys is, but this man is completely clueless. That's all in all seriousness.
Yeah,
he's blind.
Well, he's just lying to himself.
Yeah.
Wants to protect his daughter, and that's his biggest problem. I was watching an interview with Patty
Considine. Does he not know
Considine.
that people like he's not? It's out in the open that people can see this. Like he's not like you're not protecting anything. You're just making yourself look bad.
Well, especially when they see Damon and Lena's children. Yeah. Alicent's going to be like,
"What the hell?
You got a horse metaphor for this one?"
Yeah, but you're telling me you're that Rhaenyra, you're that clueless that you can't get.
I don't even think it's clueless. I think he just
not from her, from Rhaenyra.
Oh, right.
You can't have any kids with you guys can't suck it up and pump out 1 or 2 kids. You got to have 3 kids with Harwin.
Right, or find someone who, is the same shade as Laenor.
Yeah.
Something like that, so it's less obvious.
Well, I think
everyone's saying, they should have done the Marjorie Tyrell method. Marjorie was ahead of her time, man. She's a futurist.
Yeah.
Well, I think
200 years ahead of her time.
In the book, Rhaenys has brown hair or black hair with a silver streak. Takes more of her Baratheon side. So I think if that's the one thing that I think. I mean, obviously, I think they made the change just to establish Targaryen, but if she kept that feature, I think you could. It adds a little bit more, plausible deniability with her with the kids. Because all right, so then we had a kid and it turned out white. It just took over my genes. So, but the black hair came from the children's grandmother. So you can kind of connect those dots. When you have 2 silver-haired people and they just come out like straight strongs, then you're like, okay, something's up here.
Well, Rhaenyra is also not your traditional princess. She acts more like a prince. You see Aegon, he's jerking off out the window. That's kind of what Rhaenyra was as a kid. Not that explicit or crude, but she had fun. She liked to get out there with, her different bachelors. So I think it's like what Alicent said. She's just flaunting her privilege. She doesn't care. She's just super reckless. If I say they're my kids, they're my kids. I'm the fucking princess. It's one of those things. And Viserys loves her, so he's going to do everything to protect her. He's not even, it can't be clueless. It's more so just self-delusion in order to protect his family, because he looks like he does care not only about his sons with Alicent, but he very much loves his grandchildren as well. So
Yeah,
he
nice
wants
guy.
to, right? Yeah, he
Sad.
wants to forge those relationships. It's so fucking sad, especially when he's watching over them. He's tapping Lionel, like, isn't this just fucking fantastic?
But he believes it. That's the funniest
Thick as
part.
blood.
Yeah, I know.
These thick as thieves.
I don't understand how Allison is trying now with Aegon. What is he, 17? And you want to start now with trying to convince him that he's there?
I think he's a little younger, but I
think you missed a boat to convince him, man.
His face, he takes after his father. He's got that same dumbstruck face.
When he's fixing his hair when he got caught. I don't know. He was just bothering me.
He's a typical teenager.
Yeah.
Right? And you're wondering if those traits will be heightened in the episodes ahead. But for the most part, he seemed to be friendly towards his cousins. Or his nephews, I guess. Yeah, those would be his nephews.
Yeah.
That they had this sort of brotherly bond with each other, but it's Alicent putting these ideas in his head. And I think with the birth of Rhaenyra's third son, it puts her life more in danger.
Well, I think,
and Aaron made the point that if it's a secret that gets out, it makes everything way more dangerous.
well, I think too with Alicent kind of mirroring what happened to her in the past with Otto and instilling these ideas into her head. She's now doing that to her son. You know, I think, again, Alicent is public enemy number one with the fandom here, but I think it's a very logical decision to realize that if Rhaenyra's children are illegitimate, that kind of jeopardizes a whole bunch of shit, especially in a line of succession. So it might not even her being, I'm going to put this idea into Aegon's head just because we want power. I'm putting this idea in his head because it's a very real possibility this gets out, and a very real possibility that will make you the heir. I mean, she's definitely playing her game, and she's maneuvering as well, but at a certain point, all she's been through, it's kind of all she knows at this point. And her being forced into so many situations, I don't think it's out of, I don't think it makes her a bad person to have that conversation with Aegon.
No, not at all. I just think you should have did it earlier instead of doing it now. This kid wants no part of the throne. You've never talked to him about it before. This is your first time talking to him about
that's
it.
a problem you sort of run into with the time jump.
Yeah.
We don't know if they've had these conversations. It's a lesson that she keeps trying to hammer home. I doubt that it is the first time that they've talked about this, because she seemed pissed off. Like, you need to get it together. We've had this talk before, and he's just a typical teenager.
Rebellious.
Typical rich kid, right? With nothing better to do than jerk off out the fucking window and bully his younger brother. Typical rich kid things. Alicent is getting way too much hate. This is the first time we've really seen the Alicent that we're treated to in Fire and Blood. But I think up until this point, a lot of her moves have been, I don't know if you can call them logical, but from her perspective, they sort of do make sense.
We wonder how these people get so good at the game. And it's like, we're watching it right now. She's been in this game since, what was she, 16 years old?
She's like Messi.
Like, you wonder how, like with the conniving and the backstabbing, or like the ideas they get.
Well,
they've been doing this.
I think we've seen that, like, a good example is Sansa.
And she's getting better at it.
From the original series, being just having that innocence, like you said, maybe certain ideas about the way the world works, and she quickly learns that's not really how things are, and over the seasons develops until now where she's making the decisions, where I think, like Alicent in the beginning, they had no control over their lives. So, I think we talked about it. You start young in this world, because you got to learn quick, and if you don't, you oftentimes end up dead or just irrelevant. So I think
What'd I do?
I'm just waiting for you to drop it.
I don't drop things.
All right, CD Lamb.
well,
He's killing me this year.
and seeing things like her in the small council, I think Rhaenyra remarks that Alicent's whispering in the king's ear, so she's definitely making her presence known. So I don't think she's completely innocent. What?
Do the Yang Yang twins.
I wish you had headphones. You can hear that. Hey, little mama, they're whispering in your ear.
What happened to them? They had like 2 bangers, and then they just
Halftime and salt shaker.
That takes a lot out of you, man. You
being the Yang Yang twins.
Yeah, it's not easy.
So she's definitely put herself in a position to make some decisions, even when discussing Viserys about the marriage between Helena and was it Jace, right?
Yeah.
Joss or
Jace.
No, Jace.
Jace, Joss. I think they called him Jace.
Yeah.
Jacaerys.
Jacaerys, yeah.
And then the middle brother's Lucerys.
Luke.
Yeah, like that.
And she basically said, like, over my dead body.
Yeah, she says that to Viserys, right? You can marry them when I'm dead. Viserys is like, well, puts me in a pickle. It is funny to see Alicent on that small council.
She's not going nowhere, man. She's not budging anymore.
Like, wait, why is the queen here? I guess she's here. I guess that's what she does. I thought that was a great sparring match between the two of them. Alicent getting visibly upset by Rhaenyra's advice, Rhaenyra's commands. But the way Rhaenyra's sitting back in that chair, fiddling with her little thing, she was just such a boss in that moment. And I think that's why, Emma Darcy brought the same charm that I think Millie Alcock brought to this character, but there's a new coldness now. She's a bit more she feels confidence. More pragmatic. Yeah, more confident. She definitely has the courage of her convictions in these moments. So when you get a command from someone like that, you follow it. And I think that's one of the edges that she does have over Alicent, is that you want to fight for her more than you want to fight for Alicent. Something that you're sort of born with, and I think Rhaenyra definitely has that quality. She had it as a child, and Emma Darcy brought it to her as an adult as well.
Well, I'm sure Rhaenyra is just as sneaky as Alicent is, but I feel like Alicent's more obvious with it than Rhaenyra. Like, Rhaenyra hides it better than her.
Alicent puts her on blast this whole episode,
I know,
right? I mean,
dude.
that first scene is a good way to establish the time jump, because you don't have time to think. You're like, holy shit, another childbirth.
No,
this is wild.
This show
They
is
didn't have
nuts.
epidurals back then, did they?
No.
Bro, this show is not stopping. They're trading their sex scenes for childbirth scenes, and it's kind of bothering me now.
Well, it's a beautiful thing. It's nature.
Yeah, but I also want to tune some stuff. It's nice getting that kind of stuff.
Well, I've heard that it's very realistic.
Oh,
especially the scenes like when the afterbirth comes, and somebody told me it should have been way bloodier.
So the funniest one was there's a picture of a guy eating a pizza. It's like, this birth shit takes forever. And it's just him with the pizza watching his wife in labor.
That's Laenor?
Yeah.
Did it hurt? That was funny.
Dude, it was I loved how surprised she was. She's like, oh, Rhaenyra, you should be resting. It's like,
oh, she's
just
fucking
called
with
me
her.
up.
She's fucking with her. That's such a great, yeah. Some nice gaslighting there.
I mean, it's that, and then that remark to Laenor is just...
Oh my god, daggers.
Or work of beauty.
Daggers, dude. Keep trying, man. You'll get one that looks like you.
Or when Viserys says that the baby has the same nose as Laenor. Laenor's like, oh, great.
A lot of visuals too, like when she was done walking, you see the blood behind her, like she's not playing no games.
Yeah, right. It's a bloody trail, and it's just a woman after childbirth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so fucked up to make somebody have to go through that, Because if Rhaenyra sends somebody else with the baby, she's not there to defend that kid.
No.
And the kid is literally seconds old, and he's already being interrogated over who his parents are. Literally doesn't have a fucking minute to breathe before Alicent's got the fucking microscope, putting him on blast, putting him on the fucking lie detector. Whose baby is that?
I mean, Ned Stark would have had a field day with this genetic pool. Him going through that book. Right. Jon Baratheon, Dark of Hair. Fuck.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I think Alicent in this episode is, I don't know, I think I'm just drawn to that type of character because obviously Rhaenyra, that's a character I can root for. But I think in terms of driving the show, I think characters like Larys, like Alicent, like Cersei, like Littlefinger, those are the characters I come to see. That I think is what really Game of Thrones in this world is all about.
Right, obviously, but the people that are trying to say Alicent's worse than Cersei are ridiculous.
Oh no, Cersei would
Come
eat
on.
her for lunch.
Yeah.
Well, I think Larys is worse than Littlefinger. This guy Larys.
No, Larys is more like Cersei. I think at this point he's committed crimes that are on the level of Cersei. So you could put him in that class.
Maybe she could eventually at this point, no, but Cersei was just
ruthless.
Right, she was far more vicious. And I think there are also differences. Like Cersei would change around her kids. Alicent doesn't. When she's talking to Helena and she's got her hand on her temple, Helena's showing her bug, she could fucking care less. She's like, I don't care about your hobbies or your interests. I care about what you can do for me. So I think there are differences with those characters.
Well, I think Cersei, a lot of the times, I think she loved her kids, but I came to a point where that was the last scraps she had. And then once that was taken away, she was just oh, I can do what I like. I'm just going to be me now. Kind of using them as a shield. I think Alicent is more of genuinely trying to make the best out of this situation for her kids and herself to an extent. But Cersei, I mean, she was our own favorite player.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, right? She protected her kids, but at the end of the day, it was about how she could use her kids to to further her own ambitions, right? And Allison, it is more about survival. So I think there's more of a balance to the Allison character when it comes to being evil or good. She's more dead center to me than Cersei was. Cersei's presented as the villain, and she doesn't become more of a protagonist until season 5. Still a delightful character, but people are expecting Allison to be something she's not. We'll see, though.
Well, yeah, and I mean, everyone, like, obviously Laris is, oh, that's Littlefinger, Allison, Cersei. It's like, sure, you can draw comparisons, but at the end of the day, a lot of these characters set themselves apart from each other in many different ways, and I think that's good. I don't want just clone copies of these characters put into this world, and, you know, let's do something else here.
But I also think it's the difference between, not to get too far into it, why Game of Thrones is always going to be better than a story like this. Littlefinger was a poet when you look at the way he was manipulating people. Lars sets a castle on fire. It's a move, and it puts him in a higher position of power, takes out his brother and his father. But Littlefinger's is like, you know, his plans wouldn't. You'd be 3 seasons in, and you'd be like, that was Littlefinger who did that? You know, this is very explicit. There's no, you know, in the shadows. I mean, they're in the shadows, but it's so just the story that was written along with a bunch of other stories that George written. You know, it's not the same care and attention to detail. Not to say it's so much worse or that Game of Thrones is so much better, but I think that Lars, you know, he's his own guy.
You find out in season 3, it's Laris's kids. Laris's plan. Is that everything?
Then all of a sudden, everything I just said blows up in my face.
That's not.
Lars
that's
is
not a
the
thing, by the way.
Lars is on his throne.
Now in the comments, what the hell? Lars is their uncle, I guess.
That is true.
Yeah.
He does not care about his family, huh?
No.
That's upsetting.
Right, and then once again, why is Lars so willing to? Why does he have the capacity to commit mass murder? That's something we won't know, but at this point we can pick up. He's not such a good guy.
We'll find out, though, because he says, you'll do me a favor when I need it.
Right. Yeah, we wondered if, you know, Laris and Alicent were going to be allies after episode 5, so. And Alicent being surprised about what he did. Also so fake. She's so good at that, right? Pretending to be shocked.
I was going to say,
I think she's in a position.
At first I felt bad. Because I thought maybe she really didn't mean it, and I was like, you know what?
I don't think there's an element of, I didn't think you were going to go that far, but I'm not going to tell on you.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, right. But it's like, okay, maybe scale it back next time, but
maybe not set a castle on fire.
But it's like if Rhaenyra and said to Kristen when he's like, "You want me to kill him?" And she was like, "Yes," and then Kristen just went out and killed her. I think Rhaenyra would be like, "Whoa, come on, you got a time and place, bud." But with like,
Rhaenyra may have had him arrested though. Alicent's like, yeah, I guess Harrenhal's yours now.
I will text my dad.
Yeah, you know what? That's right.
Wait, so what happens now? So does that mean that Otto coming back?
I mean, I think
that's Otto's music.
I'd love to see Otto again.
Definitely opens up the position. Depends which way they want to go with it. But I think more importantly to Alicent, like it or not, she is now tied at the hip with this man. And he is capable of anything.
I think that's why she was upset, because now she's stuck with him.
That's a good point, right? Yeah, if I'm going to be working so closely with this guy, knowing this is what he's capable of, what did I get myself into, sort of thing.
If I'm Alicent, I think the play here is to kill Laris.
Well, that's an interesting point you made, is when Laris comes back for, you know, it's an exchange, a transaction, right? Yeah. So what is Laris going to ask of the queen? So it may be something that she's not so willing to give.
I don't think she's, like, there yet. Like, you said that, like, you got to kill Laris. I don't think she's, like, capable of that at this, like,
Cersei
I don't think that's just her character.
Right.
Cersei blew up a fucking church.
I don't think she's up to the religious genocide just yet. No, but that's something that, you know, we may see over the rest of the season, her becoming even more.
Hey, it takes one thing to push you over the edge. I think this could be it. And she could want to kill Laris, and then she just get worse and worse.
Or it could be like, this worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you run that back?
Keep it up. Who else do I want to have murdered?
Right.
I mean, you can get away with it.
Any other unlucky castles out there?
Burn down River Run. I don't like seafood.
Where are the Starks? I haven't seen any Starks lately.
They're just chilling. They have no idea what's going on. They're hanging out north.
Do their own thing.
They're
no one bothers them.
Wardening, doing the old way.
Getting bugs in their drink and saying, "Spit it out, you wee shit. Mm-hmm. Spit it out." Season 2 is a cool ass Stark who plays a role in future seasons. Yeah, he's fucking cool as shit. I hope it's Henry Cavill.
I think you told me that was a rumor. That he was going to play someone.
That is a rumor.
Well, now Ryan Condal said today that he thinks House of the Dragon is as an anthology, which I kind of always thought. But if they do Aegon's Conquest, it's going to be Henry Cavill, and Elizabeth Olsen, she's going to be
Visenya.
Yeah, Visenya. I was going to say Rhaenys is the older one, which I think off the top of my head, Rosamund Pike. Anyway, Yeah, I think we talked about that. Cavill playing a Stark would actually be badass. Because I've always seen him as young Robert, not much. And I think just because The Witcher is out, everyone's like, oh, he could play a Targaryen.
Dude, that scene when Daemon and Lena ride in to was it Pentos, is that what they were?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that scene was sick. I mean, the dragons look insane. And I think Daemon's dragon is the best looking one.
I do too, man. I love the build of that dragon. He's like a big lizard.
Yeah.
He's got that very flexible spine to him.
Lena's dragon was like an old shit.
Yeah, Lena's dragon. Vhagar. It's cool to see Vhagar. You know, she was around, even though it's all fake. She was around for Aegon's conquest, right? That was Visenya was Vhagar's first rider, so it's always these warrior characters who are able to ride one of the big three. And I said it on the first review. She looks like a relic, an artifact that's come to life.
Yeah.
And I think there were a lot of things in this episode that felt that way, like the Dragon Pit. It's something that we saw in the original series, but it was destroyed. It was just a ruin. Now it's at its peak. You know, looks like a great structure, very mysterious. But yeah, that was a great scene. Introduction to the dragons, them just flying around. You see the way the small folk revere them. They look up
like gods,
in awe, right?
Yeah, Vhagar is just absolutely massive. I think like what you mentioned, like how you can feel the weight of that dragon when it flies by and how it flaps its wings. Like it is a big beast. And I think it's really felt. It just felt the way it's shot, the sound design, it all really comes together. And even and even like Jace's dragon, I think like that's the best like a medium small size dragon has looked.
Oh, when it was walking up, dude.
Yeah,
it was sick.
Yeah, the attention to detail is great on the close-ups. Some people have been complaining about the CGI. I think for the most part, it's looked good.
Yeah, I think the personality to the dragons really shows. Even like that slight hesitation from Vhagar, it's like I think it just sets the standard that like these dragons are aware of what's going on, and they are smarter than you would think any other animal is.
This girl was like, "You dead ass right now? It's midnight."
Yeah. Teddy was like, Vhagar, why are you waking me up for this? People book readers were pissed off by that. Some book readers about the change for her ending, but I don't know.
They already did the childbirth death thing,
happy,
right? So
yeah, you're never gonna make people happy.
Or like earlier in the season, obviously with Emma, like they've had the childbirth death. So I think to do that again, maybe they just wanted to change things up a bit. But at the end of the day, it's still like the big thing is that Lena and her child are dead. That didn't really bother me too much.
It didn't. That wasn't disturbing.
What? I mean, like it was like
no, I'm kidding.
Crazy to watch, but I think like even her talking earlier how she wants a dragon rider's death. I think it fit the character to go out on her own terms. You know, especially earlier on, like when Emma was
3 hours later though.
I'm saying like Emma was stripped of all agency, like, and she couldn't make her own decision, and having Lena be able to and go out on her own way, I think was like it makes that scene more than I think it could have been just on surface level.
Yeah, and I think it reveals something about Daemon that he doesn't tell the doctors to try and save the child. Viserys was so desperate to have a son because it furthers the line. It solidifies the dynasty. For Daemon, that wasn't important in that moment.
That's why I'm saying, that's why I said earlier that I think that's why he was at peace.
Well, what do you think about them cutting the scene of Daemon embracing his children?
Interesting. Yeah. Lena does tell him, well, it's one of the daughters, I think it's Rayla, who tells her mother, one of the daughters tells her mother, Rhaena, that Daemon just ignores her. Typical dad, right? All my focus is on the oldest child because she's the heir in this new order that Viserys has established. So I guess that they didn't want to contradict that line, you know, that they really want to establish that Daemon's becoming numb. He's very cold towards his family. It's not that he doesn't love them, he respects them, but this is not really where he should be type of thing. It sucks because the kids just lost their mom and they have no one there to put, you know, they have no shoulder to cry on. So it almost feels like they're now all alone in the world. Daemon's not equipped to handle this, being a father of two young girls without a mother there. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Maybe if they did show that scene, I would feel differently. But they chose not to keep it in, and that has to be for a specific reason, right?
Wait, so there was a scene that he embraced them, and
yeah, you see it there at the end when they're crying during the montage of the fire, and he just walks away. But they cut a moment where he embraces them and he hugs them and he talks to them. So people were upset by that.
At least he did it.
Yeah, it seems like they're establishing it bit by bit that Damon does have this softer side, but they didn't want to fully go in that direction for that moment. I don't know. I think that the audience would have forgiven them. Their mom just died.
I know.
So if he embraces them, he comforts them, and then in the next episode he does something terrible, you could still be like, well, it was a tough moment for them as a fan.
I think people are probably just upset
justify it when he
because
does do it.
it's getting harder and harder to defend Damon. That's just something they can't point to. Like, look, he's actually nice. And everything else is him just being a huge dick.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wasn't upset by them cutting that.
No, I think it portrays two different things. I think you have different opinions of Damon. Either way, you cut it. But, maybe something similar to that happens next episode, and they don't want to kind of spoil that or dilute that moment he has. We'll see. I think with Damon, it's something where obviously we see that he is coming back home. So I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see like how up to date he is on everything, because like obviously he knows about Harwin and Rhaenyra, but like when he sees his brother or when he sees like Kristen with Allison, like I just wonder like how up to date he is on things. This man Kristen, man, talk about just
what a flip for him. I was so
baiting Harwin into blowing up his own spot in front of everybody that everyone took as like, oh, he's probably the kid's father, except for Viserys.
This guy Kristen's playing chess too, man. He's just a little bitch.
Right, that's their team right now. It's Allison, Kristen, and Loras. So
fucking squad. He has such a punchable face too. Like it was so satisfying to see Harwin go at him, but like at the end of the day,
at what cost?
That was just his plan the whole time. So joke's on you.
And it becomes a little sparring match where he takes Jace into his corner and Kristen's got Aegon in his corner. And once again, the kid's being manipulated. There are nice moments of Aegon giving Luke a little push when it's his time to hit the dummy. So like I said, they have this brotherly bond, but it's the adults that are tearing them apart. So they're forcing Aegon to go at Jace, and Jace doesn't back down. You get so much from those characters just in those moments of what they're made of, right? That Aegon is susceptible to being a bit of a punk at times, and he'll take advantage of a weaker opponent if he knows that's okay. And Jace doesn't back down. He fights back with fury. So that's an interesting rivalry they may be budding now, because of the adults. Mm-hmm. Except for Viserys, he thinks that everything's just going swell.
I know.
I do love it when he used his father voice to yell at Aegon, and Aegon backed off. Shows that, there's still some respect for the king at times. Typical, rich kid being spoiled. How dare you lay your hands on me? Viserys is like, shut the fuck up.
Relax.
Yeah, stop being a pussy.
Dude, he looks bad. I can't get over it.
Well, we didn't mention that he didn't have the arm.
This man walked out with no arm. Like, he's smiling. Love it, though. I love it.
It's just one. Yeah, it's not a subtle detail, but it goes to show there's your time passing, right?
Yeah.
No, he's like decaying in front of everyone's eyes. I think it's hard to command respect when you're in that situation. I mean, he needs help standing. He can barely walk. Like,
needs help sitting.
Yeah.
And she walks out on him. That's sad.
Who, Allison?
Yeah, he's like, you gonna help me? And she walks out.
We're getting Ed back in here. He always gives me a hand.
Edward's going to be the next hand of the king. Well, even in the scene at the small council when Rhaenyra makes that proposition, he's all on board with it, right? Put your stamp of approval, but even then, he doesn't have that power. Alicent still has final say. And you're king. You should have final say on everything, but once again, he's a people pleaser. He wants both sides to be okay with it.
That's what he is. That's exactly what he is, a people pleaser. He won't enforce his will if someone's upset with it.
But I think you do have to give Rhaenyra credit there. If Alicent is scared for her children's life, that's a good way to assure that they won't be killed. That Helena is married to the next heir. That your blood will eventually be queen consort. It's something, right? That's a pretty good guarantee.
And king. If they had a child.
And if they have a child, right? Yeah, their child, eventually you will be the grandmother to the future monarch.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long ways away, though.
Yeah, sure, right. Alicent's not as
easy to say it.
Right, she's a bit short-sighted.
Yeah.
And I think Lionel, too. We haven't really talked about him. I mean, I'm going to miss him. I'm glad that, I
liked him a lot.
I'm not happy he died, but I'm glad, he died with, it coming out that he's actually a piece of shit doing, his own thing. He just was what he was, and from what we saw, just wants to help. Good guy, honorable guy. That'll be his legacy.
Yeah, Viserys, what he tells him, that your advice for the last 10 years has been totally unbiased. So I can't rule without you because you're basically holding this shit together.
This guy's he's pretty much king.
Right, yeah, the hand, as they say, the king shits, the hand wipes, and he was the best person to have to clean up the shit because you know that it's going to be impartial advice. So losing him it weakens Viserys' position, which also weakens Rhaenyra's position because they're still on the same page. Rhaenyra's still the heir. Even though Aegon is now a boy of 14, of 15, whatever he is, Viserys could easily go back on his word. And it would put Rhaenyra in a corner that would be very hard to get out of. Viserys is sticking in that corner, but their side has been weakened because, like I said, Lionel Strong's a very, very valuable ally. They don't make him like him. And the same thing with Harwin. He was cut from that Lionel cloth. Loras, I don't know what the fuck happened to him. He must take after his mother. But Harwin was...
Straight snake.
Right, maybe not the thinker that his dad was, but he was a very valuable fighter and super loyal. And... he had a great nickname, Breakbones, right? That's somebody you want on your side. Now he's just Ashy Bones.
Well, I think he loses in a tourney.
Poor guy.
I think in the book he loses in a tourney. I think Kristen beats him and he breaks something, and Mushroom calls him what's he call him? Broken Bones.
So is there a chance that Otto comes back and then Alicent is pretty much set up beautifully?
Well, I think this move was meant to bring Otto back into the picture. So yeah, Otto's coming back. And there's a position open, so...
Yeah. And he was once the hand.
Right, they do have that relationship. And Viserys seems like someone... he's not going back on his word with Rhaenyra, but he does seem to have a forgiving heart. So 10 years is a lot of time. If he does have a encounter with Otto, maybe they patch things up, hash some things out.
Is there like a news...
and everything will go
King's
swimmingly.
Landing? Like, does everyone know why Otto got sent home?
A Twitter?
Yeah.
King's Landing Gazette, yeah.
No, it was one of those
More of a
typical,
tabloid, but...
the coach resigns,
Yeah.
with that nice little nudge.
Yeah. Because I guess if everyone knew why he got let go, I guess he'd be real hard to convince the public
I
why
also
he's
don't
back.
think that...
we needed a new voice, messaging was starting to get stale. We needed someone in here to, just change the culture.
Yeah, and if that got out, it's like, okay, Otto was spying on the princess. I don't know if that really gets the people talking.
Right.
So I think it is an easy
But a
put him
bastard.
back in. Right.
That bastard gets them going. They hate bastards in this world, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rhaenyra made the point to Viserys in episode 4 that if I was a man, I could have bastards running all over the capital. Nobody would give a shit. And he's like, yeah, but you're not. So some things are accepted. King Robert, it was very open secret that he had bastards everywhere. He literally had dozens of bastards. And if Rhaenyra has 3, it's, can't trust her. She's dishonest.
Viserys doesn't know
Jace
that they're
Waters,
bastards.
that sucks. You got to stick with Targaryen. Or even Strong. Chase Strong? Ooh. What's that?
Viserys doesn't know that they're bastards?
No.
I thought you were just playing along with it.
I think
He doesn't know?
he knows.
It's one of
He can't put
those.
that
It's
together?
like he's just repressing it. He
Oh
does.
my God.
It's almost like if he
No, I'm
acknowledges
thinking
it.
about it. Like when he tried resigning, he kept saying why. Like, what's going on?
Oh, you're just putting that.
Now I am. Yeah,
Right.
I'm like, wait, he really doesn't know.
No, Viserys
And Alicent's
knows.
getting disgusted
Viserys
with
is
him.
just not going to sell out his family. He knows. He's just lying.
Then why not just accept? Why can't you just accept? I don't know.
Because if it's out there, that's
I
why
guess.
Alicent
Alright,
was
yeah,
pushing
yeah.
Lionel so hard to
Yeah.
just say it in plain words. Because if she's a witness, and the
Yeah.
queen's words, if you witness somebody saying that Rhaenyra's kids are bastards,
Right.
yeah, Viserys kept giving her those looks, like stop pushing for it. I think it's one of those things that he's just being very stubborn about it.
Yeah.
Because like he said, if this gets out, the
done.
consequences are dire. Yeah. And he's grown to love those kids. He was so happy when he first met the newborn. So I imagine he's got a great relationship with Jace and Luke. And like I said, that he loves them like he loves his actual children with Alicent. So he's that type of guy.
Oh. I'm heartbroken for this man, dude.
I do feel terribly for him.
I want
episode.
good for Viserys real bad.
Well, I think Patty Considine and George has commented
Next
on this.
week he shows up without a leg.
He's gonna get worse and worse, dude.
Just a torso.
I think Patty Considine definitely brings a lot of tragedy to this character.
Yeah.
So you feel it through his performance. He's just totally embraced the role. And like I said, you feel worse and worse for him every week. every new development in his life just raises the sympathy bar for him.
I was watching the scenes from like the first episodes, and then to see him now, what a difference 10 years made for him.
Well, yeah, 15 years. He looks so much healthier.
Oh my god,
and spry and young.
I was watching the
Good
scene
skin.
when Damon comes back after he lost his son, and he was sitting in his chair with authority.
Doesn't that feel like so long ago? Air for a day.
Yeah. Did you say it?
That's another parallel too, like him making that joke and like the same thing happening to him, pretty much. You know,
Yeah.
He's like, now I get why he was mad about that.
I know.
I get it now.
This sucks.
He comes home. He's like, hey, bud,
Same thing.
same thing. My bad. It's like, I told you. It's mean. It's like, I know. It's my bad.
I was mourning. I don't know.
They start making out. The Targaryens, they do that shit.
Yeah.
What did you think about Laenor in this episode, Teddy? The fact that he wants to get out there and fight.
I mean, I think that's just his way of saying he wants to get out of here. He doesn't want to fight. He's
Just sort of sick of everything.
Yeah, he keeps saying that he wants to be a fighter again. No, you don't.
I think he's like aloof to a lot of those things. It's kind of like with Robert when he wants to go joust in the tourney. He's been in such a place of comfort this whole time that like going to battle seems fun. Like he just thinks of, oh yeah, I'll go to another battle. Oh, last time I was on the dragon, we won, all the glory that happens. Like I'll just do that. Meanwhile, that's not the case like 99% of the time. He's going drunk, doesn't really know the situation and how deep it is and the consequences until Rhaenyra has to sit him down and be like, listen, you can't fucking leave. Those children are in danger. We're in danger. Like we need to stick together here. And finally, he kind of just comes around to that idea.
Well, when he first comes in the scene, when he tries to comfort Rhaenyra, I mean, even from there, she doesn't want anything to do with him. Nothing to do with him. She just doesn't want to. It feels like it's like fake, what he's giving.
Well, I think there's sort of a limit to their relationship. They're on the same page. They've made this pact with each other, but they're not in love. They're not husband and wife. So I think, the sort of the gestures that Harwin makes are a bit more caring and a bit more comforting. For Laenor, he's just there to be on her arm, to play the role of Rhaenyra's husband.
Just the way he was holding the baby, Joffrey. The way Harwin, he was holding the baby so much more empathetically than Laenor was.
Yeah, right. And that's not to say that Laenor's a bad guy, but his role has been,
his kid, man.
Like Aaron said, to just enjoy yourself. Go out, have sex, get drinks, party your life away, and then maybe go on a suicide mission out in the step zones. So in a way, yeah, you kind of do feel bad for this character. He's just sort of a wandering man. He'll play his role, and he's loyal, he's dutiful, but he's got no purpose. He's literally living with no purpose whatsoever. So that is sad when characters want to find their purpose through fucking war.
Yeah.
But it is, like Robert. Robert was never happy unless he was killing somebody. So that one of my favorite scenes from season 1 is when he's sharing the war stories with Barristan and Jaime. God, so was strong then.
Yeah, he fell off, huh?
Yeah, he did that. That's why I can't see Henry Cavill being young Robert, because Mark Addy just... You're like a short, pudgy guy.
I mean, the fan art of Robert in his heyday, he's a fucking massive presence.
Yeah, I guess you could change the canon there. I think Sean Bean's taller than Mark Addy.
Yeah.
Book Robert was 6'6".
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'll wait till you hear about the mountain.
Yeah, it is sad for Laenor and Laena that they'll never reunite. And I think that's also an element of where you can point out the development isn't so great, because you don't really have many scenes with the Valerians as a family together. So those dynamics, you never grew with those characters like you did with, Rhaenyra and Alicent. That's where a lot of the development was focused in those first 5 episodes. And for the most part, it was pretty great. I mean, those 2 actors have become huge stars overnight because of it, because of how effective they were in those roles. But some of the other characters aren't going to be as well developed. But I think Laenor in this episode, the insight that we got for that character was definitely strong. Seeing how this role of a stand-in husband has weighed on him, and seeing what he's become after these 10 years.
Yeah, just dead inside.
Yeah, I mean, I think he seems, especially when we saw him in the step zones, like riding Sea Smoke and, being a key part of that victory, to basically just being in court all these years and doing nothing even remotely towards that. And now he's like, oh, I can still do that. I can still put the pads on.
Well, what did you guys think about the Dragon Pit? Just the look of it. The production design there.
Oh, how it was like dimly lit.
Yeah.
And shit. Yeah. It's kind of like what you would. It's what you think you'd see when you hear Dragon Pit, seeing like the baby dragons coming out, like they're trying to train. Like when he said bring him to the Dragon Pit at first, I was like, what?
What's this going to look like? Is it going to look cheap?
I know.
It didn't look cheap whatsoever.
No, it looked like they were actually in a pit, like a coliseum.
Yeah, and I think like you said, the design of the dragon looks amazing, and you know that's like really our first introduction to the kids at this point in their lives. And I think with Aemon's kind of being the black sheep of the family, he's the one everyone picks on. That was mean.
Typical middle child.
Yeah,
Has to prove himself.
The
so he
cousins
goes
are getting in on it too.
Right.
You're older than them.
But I thought you get an egg when you're born.
This
Sometimes
hasn't
they don't
hatched.
hatch. It's like a 50-50.
That's gotta suck.
It's either your egg,
Yeah, he's a fucking dork.
and if that doesn't hatch, you have to like bond with another dragon. But not every dragon just bonds to you. You know,
I'd bond with a dragon.
dragon has to bond to you.
Yeah, you know if the dragon tries to kill you, and then you take your hair and you put his hair and oh, that's Avatar.
I command one of those too.
But I think like
But that's an effective scene because you learn that Aemon feels this need to prove himself. So a little insecure, but also brave. He's not a coward. He goes in there alone. And the way that was set up was very spooky. It's sort of the wind is pushing him back, but he embraces it. And he has that interaction with that giant dragon that's just chilling down there. It was terrifying. Right? He got the fuck out of there. So no bonding today, but it gives you a little insight into this character and what he's willing to do to prove himself. So
I thought that was going to be one of the scenes where like you find out what he's made of and he stays down there and like goes face to face with a dragon and like that's like his dragon. But
right.
he ran.
Yeah, they were setting it up that way, definitely, that this would be a bonding moment, but they pull out the rug a little bit.
Yeah.
And then people have talked about some of the things that Helena said in that scene with Alicent that points to what Aemon's going to have to go through in order to acquire his dragon. But we've been trying to avoid some of those things because when you do talk about them, you get comments saying, hey, no spoilers. I don't know anything about this series. I don't want to know those things. So
I mean, you're watching a spoiler discussion, though.
No, but
like
things for the
future.
books. There are things that they're setting up for future characters, and it's just like, yeah, we've noticed them, but like I said, we don't want to spoil it for people who don't know. But I thought she was really weird, you know, right? You get, like I said, with all the 3 Alicent kids, you got so much and so little scenes with them. But right off the bat, you know that she's just she's a little kooky.
kind of upset. I think it's in the books they have the dragons, their fire kind of resembles their color. So I think Dreamfire is supposed to have like a little blue. It's not that big of a deal, but I think that would be cool.
So do you know what dragons are which? When you see them?
Not necessarily. No, I go to the internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because when you say them, I feel like it's something I should know.
Theory that
Like who's Dreamfire?
that was the dragon Aemon saw on the dragon pit. Yeah,
There's
the
literally
big
no
one.
way to know that unless like you.
Well, there's a theory that
Am I missing something that I should know?
Dreamfire is the mother of Daenerys' 3 dragons.
Oh.
That the 3 eggs that Daenerys received were her eggs, Dreamfire's eggs.
Okay.
So the design looks just like Drogon and Rhaegal and Viserion. So I don't know if that confirms that theory, but I think it's pretty neat.
So we're doing our own child analyzations for dragons.
Right. Yeah, for the dragons,
Yeah.
right? We're like, oh, wait a minute. Those features look very familiar.
It's kind of weird now looking back on it. Like Rhaegal was just like, "Come on, John.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're buddies.
Let's go on,
Well,
Mom.
John's got that
I have the name of your
Valyrian
dad,
blood.
so like we're kind of like brothers. So hop on."
Rhaegal's a good guy.
Yeah.
We didn't give him enough credit for that.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Just
fucking killed by
forgot
Euron
about him.
Greyjoy.
Forgot about him.
That was a good shot, though.
Don't get caught lacking.
I hate that so much that Euron Greyjoy killed a fucking dragon. He's a dragon slayer.
It was a good shot.
So it's the Night King. That's explainable. The Night King's got a fucking rocket. Euron's like Mac Jones. Fucking wet noodle.
How do you think Drogon stacks up to these boys?
He would beat the fucking shit out of all of them.
Drogon?
Yeah, Drogon was the fucking guy. Come on, man.
He's younger though, I think.
Scars, though. Drogon went north of the wall. All the other dragons were too pussy to ever do that in the books.
Vhagar has been,
North of the wall?
but he's been doing this for decades,
Oh,
centuries.
Drogon, it would be like lining up LeBron now with like Miami Heat LeBron.
You think Vhagar could beat would lose to Drogon?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's just too big. But the other dragons, Drogon would fuck him up.
All right, so what dragon? What dragon is Lena's?
Vagar.
Vhagar. Okay,
That's the big ass.
that's the
one.
big guy.
Yeah, big girl.
Big girl. That's the one that went north of the wall.
No, Drogon went north of the wall. That's what I'm saying. Daenerys' dragons went north of the wall. That's
Oh.
a feat.
Yeah, I got fucking smoked.
Well, Viserion, he was always the weakest link, so then he came back, right? Like nothing happened. He got smoked again.
It's smoked twice.
He got smoked by Arya.
And Rhaegal died to
With them,
Euron.
Yeah.
And Drogon.
Well, it started with Drogon. Come on.
Yeah, but Drogon was
You're
like...
trying to pit his role players on
Drogon
Drogon.
would rather convey symbolism than take revenge for his own mother. I did see a cool, interesting theory that the Jon Snow sequel may have Aegon.
It's a Jon Snow sequel.
Yeah. And I was thinking, like, well, now that Drogon's still around, maybe he would hop on Drogon.
May have Aegon?
Young Griff.
Oh, yeah. That would be interesting. He comes back with Drogon.
Yeah.
Well, John's going to be like, well, I know Drogon. We go back. I killed his mom.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
He blamed the throne. I'm good.
Yeah, no, he understood subtext.
They do. They're smart.
Yeah, no, they know things.
They know things.
Yeah. Yeah, and the episode ends with Rhaenyra going back to Dragonstone, so staking her claim that's where the heir normally stays. So she's back home. But it looks like this next episode is going to bring them all together again, you know?
What do they do at Dragonstone when no one's there?
Is it? So it's empty, right? I was just gonna ask that question. It looks like the place is empty.
I mean, I'm sure they have a Castilian, like, just making sure the floors are clean and whatnot, but, like...
They probably have wards, right? Collect taxes,
Yeah.
cut off hands.
But-
Typical lord stuff.
I don't know.
Well,
So
I
what?
think
So now Dragonstone's open again?
it's open for business. Yeah, it is, right? It's like the Leslie's pool supplies of Westeros. It's only open in the summer when it's
It's packed.
when the
You got a
weather's
perfect opportunity to make another Spirit Halloween joke.
I know. I didn't want to take it. I went with Leslie's because I saw ours closed down today.
Spirit Halloween?
Oh, really?
No, Leslie's pool supplies.
Oh.
It's shut down for the winter.
Oh, so
Why are you guys so fucking distraught over this?
I like Leslie's.
The spirit.
I don't even have a pool.
Well, I think they're, the Dragonstone setting is going to be fun for a lot of people. I don't know if they're going to give us a peek to what's going on, because that's funny. You're like, well, what goes on there? And we're going to see some stuff that goes on in Dragonstone. So it's a beautiful setting. It was beautiful when they introduced it in Season 8, or reintroduced it, shooting it in Spain. So it's always a great location. And yeah, we'll see where this show will take us next episode. It should be a good one. Should be packed with a lot of drama. The preview was very intriguing, enticing.
I haven't watched the preview.
Explosive.
Is it gonna be a fight?
There's always a fucking fight, man. The family coming together.
Another child death? Childbirth scene?
At this point, yeah. Teddy texted me. He's like, please, no more birthing scenes.
I can't take it anymore, man.
Were you in the room when your daughter was born?
Yeah. Didn't go like this. I'll tell you that.
All right, guys, that does it for this episode 6 spoiler discussion. We will be back next
The
week to talk
landscaper's
about
playing us off.
episode. Yeah, they're like, come on, wrap it up, guys. We will be back next week for episode 7, Driftmark, directed by Miguel Sapochnik. Once again, great directing in this episode. And yeah, can't wait to talk about that, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'm about to go get some ramen.
Have you gone to that ramen place?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Where you going? The one I told you about?
Yeah.
How many ramen places are there?
A lot. Wow, that was probably our best review yet. Hey guys, Aaron the Nerd Soup Monkey here with a brief shameless plug before we end the video. Do you ever feel like you don't have an adequate amount of nerd soup in your life? Like you're going to bed hungry and yearning for the nonsensical yet entertaining nutrients our podcasts provide? Well, we've come up with the perfect solution. The Nerd Soup Fan Question Podcast, exclusively available to our Patreon supporters. You can sign up now by visiting patreon.com/nerdsoup, and for the price of only $1 per month, you'll receive exclusive access to our weekly podcast where we answer your questions that don't make it to the main show. And while you're there, you can check out the other rewards we offer to our patrons, like stickers, mugs, t-shirts, behind-the-scenes footage, and appearing in the credits at the end of our videos. And that's exactly what we're going to do right now. Roll the names of the nerds who make Nerd Soup possible. The reason why the crypto crash didn't send our lives spiraling down a black hole of no return. Alright, I'll stop talking so you can listen to this jazzy-ass music while checking if Beau spelt your name wrong in the credits.